Today we're talking about Ocugen, ticker symbol OCGN. This is a biotechnology stock that's been a meme stock that had some great growth last year and is having a tougher time this year. So we're going to look at it more closely to see if this is a stock to invest in now during the pullback. This is Lynn and welcome back. So before we jump into the details, remember that this is not financial advice, but my opinion only, to do your own due diligence. And if you could give this video a thumbs up in return for my efforts bringing this information to you, I'd really appreciate it. And while you're there, make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one. So let's take a look at Ocugen. What has made this stock so popular and what the future looks like. Of course, they have two therapeutics area, one for infectious diseases like COVID and the other one for eye diseases. To understand Ocugen better, let's look at their corporate presentation that gets into detail about these infectious diseases and eye diseases. First of all, their pioneering breakthrough modifier gene therapy is a really big deal these days for several genetic forms of vision impairment. They're also innovating a novel biologic to treat eye diseases that can lead to vision loss for millions of people. We're hoping they'll be successful in that area. They're also co-developing a COVID-19 vaccine. You can see here their pipeline overview for the vaccine Covaxin. The status is for adults in Mexico, 2 to 18-year-olds under review, U.S. phase 2-3 clinical trial. And in Health Canada, it's also under review. Their modifier gene therapy, OCU400, is associated with retinal degeneration. And you can see they're in phase 1-2 to be submitted on their therapies in that area. Also, they're working on novel biologics, OCU200 related to diabetic macular edema and diabetic retinopathy, wet age-related macular degeneration, or wet MAD. Their Covaxin is a whole inactivated COVID-19 vaccine licensed from Bharat Biotech for the US and Canadian markets. Why Covaxin versus all the other vaccines coming out now? So let's look at their phase 3 clinical trial highlights. They showed 77.8% overall efficacy. The adverse events were low. You can see here also 93% efficacy versus severe disease and 65% efficacy in their delta versus serious events. Their modifier gene therapy platform is a breakthrough technology designed to address many rare diseases as well as complex diseases that affect millions. The proof of principle, they were published in Nature Gene Therapy. So the efficacy results shown in 5 unique mouse models of RP, technology developed at Harvard Medical School, which is obviously a big deal. Their study suggests potential of modifier gene therapy to elicit broad-spectrum therapeutic benefits in early and advanced stages of RP, and results suggest evidence of vision rescue in early and advanced stages of the disease. That's a big deal for people that have this problem. So looking at the summary of their activities at Ocugen with Covaxin, they plan to commercialize Covaxin in Mexico in 2022, following the broadening of Ocugen territory, which now covers all of North America. I have a concern here because the company is working with the FDA to address questions arising from WHO's inspection of BBIL's manufacturing facility in order to continue with this trial. And the Health Canada NDS review continues. Related to the OCU400 and 410, the first patient dosed in phase 1-2 clinical trial studying OCU400 for the treatment of retinitis pigmentosa resulting from genetic mutations. Also, successfully completed manufacturing at commercial scale at CanSino Bio to support clinical studies, and they expanded manufacturing agreements with CanSino Bio to include support for OCU410. So related to your questions, if it's too late to buy Ocugen stock, Motley Fool came out with an article that I found very helpful you'll want to know about. This article was published on April 28th. Could the hype surrounding this once popular meme stock return? The biotech company not only has OCGN's share price been cut in half in 2022, but over the past 12 months, its value has crumbled to just 1/5 of what it was this time last year. On April 18th, Ocugen announced it had obtained the rights in Mexico to commercialize Covaxin, the COVID-19 vaccine it is co-developing with India-based Bharat Biotech. Mexico has authorized it under emergency use. This paves the way for Ocugen to at least generate some revenue from the vaccine. However, with 10 vaccines that are approved for use in Mexico, that's quite a few, it won't be an easy market in which to generate significant market share, and investors need to remember that under its deals to commercialize Covaxin, Ocugen will only share in the profit that the vaccine generates. Today, 2/3 of Americans are fully vaccinated, while Canada's vaccination rate is among the highest in the world at 82%. In Mexico, the percentage of people fully vaccinated is a bit lower at 61%. Ocugen's gene therapy treatment to treat retinal degeneration is the farthest along in phase 1/2 trials right now. It could still be years before it generates any revenue from that treatment, assuming it passes successfully through all its clinical trials, which is by no means a guarantee. So again, is it worth investing in today? It's hard to say that Ocugen's decline has made the stock less risky, because this is still a business that generated no revenue in 2021, and its operating cash burn of $47.9 million over the past year was half of the cash and equivalents that the company reported as of December 31st. In other words, $95 million. It suggests that more stock offerings will be necessary to keep the business going, which will likely pull its shares down even lower as that happens. That means more potential dilution. For now, at least, it appears the ship has sailed for Ocugen. It's extremely unlikely for the stock to get back to anywhere near last year's high of $17.65, simply because investors have been moving away from volatile COVID-19 stocks. I know I have. I sold all of my stocks I had related to COVID-19. So Motley Fool's final word on Ocugen is that Ocugen is too risky a stock to invest in today, even with the positive news it's received of late. Let's take a quick look at their pipeline. You can see the Covaxin here in phase 2/3 trials. The modifier gene therapy platform OCU400 is in phase 1/2, so that's very early on. And OCU410 for dry age-related macular degeneration is extremely early on. So last week I did look at an article showing here that Ocugen was to present preclinical results at the Association for Research in Vision and Ophthalmology, ARVO, 2022's annual meeting. So this article was published on April 29th of this year. So it announced 2 presentations on the company's research into the development of a modifier gene therapy to treat dry age-related macular degeneration and a novel biologic to treat wet AMD and diabetic macular edema at this conference on May 1st through 4th. Their breakthrough modifier gene therapy platform, OCU410, consists of a RORA modifier gene, has the potential to treat patients with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD. RORA regulates inflammatory and oxidative pathways associated with dry AMD and establishes homeostasis in molecular processes to control the disease pathophysiology. Unfortunately, I have not been able to find any results from that presentation yet, so I'm still looking for it. Another important article came out to note that Ocugen is planning to host a conference call on Friday, May 6th at 8:30 a.m. to provide business update and discuss first quarter results, so look for that. Now let's look at the all-important stock details and overall business details and performance details for OCGN. Again, the market cap of $556 million. They have a forward PE of 10, which is showing that they are putting forth some positive guidance. We'll see if that actually happens. They have an earnings per share projected next year for 193% increase. It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to come up with that. Also, Insiders own less than 1% of this stock, but institutions own 37% of this stock. They have a shares float of 195 million, making it a little tougher to move this stock on good news, and a pretty large short float of 27%. So there are a lot of folks shorting this stock. You can see the performance year to date has been negative 49%. For the year has been a negative 80%. And for the month has been a negative 35%. I'd love to hear your thoughts about Ocugen in the comments below. Do you own shares of this stock? Are you planning on picking up shares of this stock if it continues to pull back? Also, let me know about any other stocks that you're liking right now that I should take a look at. So make sure and go here in the description below to sign up for our newsletter so that you can be notified before videos like this come out and on important stock market news. And next, go here to view our playlist on biotech stocks, and particularly those with catalysts coming up in May.